What's up, friends? This is Hags. Posted on my Instagram the other day asking if you guys wanted a breakdown of my most recent song, Explosive Ego. And you said yeah, so that's what we're doing here. Yeah, if you haven't listened to it yet, go check it out. But yeah, here's the project. Here's quickly what it kind of sounds like.
My main goal is to blow up and then act like I don't know nobody.
Yar, that's what she sounds like there. But real quick, first I'll just go over the arrangement of this because it's kind of interesting. 3 drops going here, 3 quick little drops. But basically have a quick intro, the main theme with like the lead and all, a bunch of music going on into this crazy build section, drums. And then I also have this like weird fake out section before the drop where it has the vocals and the fake bass and stuff. Then into here, this is pretty much just another quick build into another dubstep drop. These first 2 are just heavy dubstep, and then kind of repeat a lot of it, just shorter for this last 3rd drop, but big switch, change around a lot of the instruments. And change the build up, and then in this last third drop, it's like bass. So yeah, that's pretty much the arrangement of this Johnson. I guess we'll start first breaking down the actual drop stuff. It's probably what most of you are here for. So I guess we'll start top to bottom. So main drop group has a bunch of EQ, saturator, delay stuff on it. Yeah. And then I have the other biggest group in here probably, which is all the basses. So that's got this side compression thing on it where one of these, it's parallel processing. One of them is on the 100% mids on the utility and the other's on 100% sides. So it basically splits it between stereo and mono. So that's just the stereo info, and that's just the mono info. So then on the sides, I have a compressor, just bringing those down a little bit in volume because I boosted them so much beforehand. And then also cutting the lows on the sides. So that's kind of that first rack on the bass group, and then just some really subtle EQing. Yeah, this, I guess, little sub compressor. Yeah, this is compressing the sub, making it loud consistently, I should say. And then in here we have the first downbeat group, which a lot of these basses are all kind of the main bass. So I'll show that patch and the processing more in depth when I get to that, because they're all pretty similar, just changed around wavetables to get something I liked that sounded different, but not like too different. So yeah, on this downbeats, I have a disperser, because there's 2 layers in here. This is the highs, and that's the sub. So yeah, I also need to make sure I have that turned. So yeah, that's just the sub group, and that's just the bass, and then I can, disperse them together, and then did some reverb throws. Shout out Fracture for the reverb. Yeah, nice reverb throws there. So that's kind of the downbeats. I guess I'll do the main bass next. It's probably the most helpful stuff. So there's quite a bit going on with this. As you can see, process is pretty crazy on this one. But yeah, so it's kind of similar to the downbeat, where I have the main, just the bass, and then just the sub. But then there's a lot more processing on the group together. So I guess I'll turn all this off. It's the best way to show you what it does. So that's all the main group processing. And then this is all the processing on the bass. That's all the processing on the sub. So then with all the processing off and just the raw serum patches, that's what we got. But yeah, so yeah, I guess we'll start with this main bass. Pretty simple serum patch, although it looks kind of complex. Basically, this main LFO is controlling just the volume on the first and third oscillator. Excuse me, it's a sine wave. I added a little bit of this third harmonic here, so it's a little wider. And then I'm phase distortioning it, I guess is what that is now. From this Icon has kick wavetable and this ReCMS wavetable, it's up 1 octave. So yeah, that's kind of how I get the tone of this guy. And then all that gets sent into this first filter because the highs were a little intense, so I just had this, so it kind of cuts the highs off a little bit, makes it less, and then that filter sends it into the second filter, which is a phaser, and that kind of adds that tone, which is nice. So then I have the second LFO, which kind of goes on these wavetables here, just moves those around, you know, adds more movement to the bass. That's pretty much it for this section. For the effects, it's also pretty simpler, just an EQ scooping some of these mids, a compressor, multi-brand compressor, and then a chorus. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the serum patch. And then we'll start with this processing. So this first EQ, just scooping a little bit of this 1K. There's a big peak here. Some disperser, just kind of, you know, accentuating it a little bit. Then some OTT is really boosting it up. 9 dB gain, 1000% time, 100% output or amount. So yeah, a lot of OTT. Then here we got a parallel comb filter. This adds a decent bit of stereo info. Yeah, and then I just kind of EQ'd it like that. Accentuate some of these, what is this? I guess 400. Some of them lower frequencies on the sides to give it more tone. And then this is also turned really, really low. So it's just a really slight layer. This EQ scooping out some 100 hertz and boosting some more of those mids. Some more stereo info or reverb in parallel. This is only in convolution mode. So yeah, just adding in some slight more stereo. And then a Pro Q that's removing any low information from the sides because I didn't want to muddy up the sides on this one. And then a big saturator, set to hard curve, and then -6 dB. So yeah, there we get the main meat of the sound. And then a whole bunch of EQs here. Kind of, you know, shaping it more. Another one of these side compressor things. So yeah, that really gets it with the side information coming through. More EQ. Got a serum effects. Yeah, this is another phaser. Just kind of adding a little bit of info. And then this amp, which is on bass at 40. So that just makes it really sick. But then and I ended up not really liking that sub too much, so I cut it away here. And then this shifter is just automated for like these endpoints there. Yeah, so that's it for the main bass. Now for the sub, I kind of just copied that serum patch, turned off everything but that wide sine wave, and then added some amp, more bass at 40%, some saturator, a kick tight, just kind of makes it nice and full, and then EQ cutting off any of the high end. Yeah. So then we are close to being done with the main bass. But, yeah. So then we'll go to the group processing with the sub and the bass. We first have some disperser. So that's just delaying the sub a little bit, which hits nice. Then some weird EQing, kind of shaping the sound a little bit more. Really, really subtle EQ there. More reverb throws. Some more EQ. And cutting the sides again. And more EQ. Yeah. That's pretty much it for the main bass there. And then in here we have some other basses. So like this is a similar patch, just switched around the wavetables, the FMing, and the wavetable positions on that second oscillator B. So yeah, these ones sound a little bit different. And then I kind of just copied a lot of the same processing. Just slightly different EQs to make them sound a little bit different, but you know, still like they're in the same world kind of thing. And then these ones just play different notes. And then there's also some, I believe, pitch bend automation on some of these too. Yeah. And then automation on here, on the main bass. I forgot to say I'm changing the wavetable position for these sections, and then also this one down here, this macro changes the rate of the LFO right here. It's set to the rate of this one and the first and second LFOs, so everything changes similarly. Yeah. Yep. And for the fake out stuff, a lot of the same basses in here. For this main bass, I kind of took the same thing and then just turned off the second wavetable, so it's just a lot less intense. But yeah, it still sounds in the same realm. And then we kind of have these guys, which are just little effects that I made. I believe there's more down in here. Yeah. Yeah, there's those guys. And then in this main effects group, during the drop, it sounds kind of like this. Nice and simple. Yeah, this like laser guy at the beginning. And then that same thing. These little chirp thingies. And then just a bunch of random glitch guys. And then this kind of really, really quiet thing that fills in the back. So that's pretty much it for the drop, I think. Oh, I have a breeze here for some of these before it switches between the A and B section. So yeah, that's just a sine wave FMing from a saw with some white noise. And then I think this is changing the detune, which makes it kind of rumble like that. And this crazy EQ, holy shit. works. And then I don't know what this is. I'm not sure. Oh, this is kind of rotating up. Doesn't really do too much. But yeah, that's that Reese, and then I have this really simple sub drop at the end. Yep. That should be it for the drop. I went over all the group processing already, yeah. So that's it for the drop. Next, I guess we'll go to the drums, probably the second most important. So this here is a kick I made, nice and hefty. And then here's a little reverse sweep of a different kick. Yeah, that's pretty much that for that. And then for the clap, we got 2 layers. This one Astroth layer, and then this one of mine. Combine those two with some hybrid reverb, saturation, and then EQing to get that hitting nice. That's pretty much it for the drums in the drop. And then some really simple hi-hats, just with some glue compression to make them loud. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the drop, the drums in the drop. Yeah, and this effects and riser stuff, this is all mostly in the intro. This is like intro effects, risers, random stuff, and then impacts. This is just to, signify changing points in the song, help it build. There's this fill thingy which comes in. That is the same as another little thing down here in the intro. So speaking of that, we'll go into the intro. There's kind of a lot going on in here. Yeah, a whole bunch going on. So yeah, I guess I'll start at the beginning. So in the very beginning, kind of one of these impacts like I was talking about, and then this nice quiet little lead. This is a plugin I kind of use a lot for this stuff. Oh, please open. Alright, sorry about that, gang. That plugin crashed Ableton. But it's Analog Lab. I like to use it. I'm not going to open it because it might crash again, but yeah, it's good. And so yeah, that comes in really quietly. I'm just automating the reverb dry wet to make that come in more. This Reese, really simple, just a solid.
My main goal is to blow up.
Yeah, super simple. And then just EQ, saturation, EQ, a whole bunch of EQ, a lot of EQ, and then more saturation just to get it to where I want it. We also have this guy coming in, which kind of teases the lead theme, automating that to open up. And then here's the actual lead. This guy is a little horn I made a while ago that I just haven't really drowned out with reverb. And then the main lead is similar to that horn, I think, just a little bit different. Sounds interesting. Super simple serum patch, a lot of reverb, and EQ. EQ and delay. There's this little accent guy, super pretty. Yeah. And then, yeah, teasing some of the basses here. Drum break. This other kick. Start teasing in this little ARP thing. Yeah, and then I tease these. Big sub drop. These are super simple to make. It's just a sine wave, and you automate the coarse pitch down over time. And then, yeah, these are processed together. Just to make them beefed up, just some saturation and some spectral. Yeah. So this starts building. These basses come in, and then the drums start hitting.
My main goal is to blow up.
Same thing as that ARP, which I'll go over in depth because this is kind of a cool sound I always wondered how to make. Pretty simple. It's just sine wave, saw wave, or triangle wave, sine wave. Play chord without the arpit. It's really, really basic. It sounds like shit, and then with the arpeggiator, it just makes it go crazy. Automating the rate of that. And then also I just automated the volume in here, so it hits harder in this section. And then this little thing is just that same sound with the arpeggiator off, and I think I might have changed some of this stuff a little bit, some of the processing afterwards. But yeah, pretty simple on that stuff. That's kind of it for the build. For this pad, I think I took that yeah, I took this, which is some weird effect that I think I put chroma on to make it in key. And then I just looped it going over like that with a lot of reverb. Made a nice pretty pad. This is just a forest recording. So that's like the pad that everything sits on. Yeah, and then yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the intro. Let's see. Oh, I guess for this section, I just kind of changed after the first drop. It's just got some different sections, kind of all different sorts of stuff from the intro. Yeah, keep it similar-ish, and then for this break, I kind of switched it up. So it gets really soft and chill. You know, nothing crazy going on. And then I think this, yeah. So this granulator, I just took the intro recording from this first drop over here, or first intro, and then I threw it into a granulator and then automated the grain and file position to get it to play different notes. Yeah, and then on this guy, I've got a compressor, so it kind of all levels out. A bunch of EQ, cleaning it up and toning it, and then saturation. This EQ turns on when I have the sub drops come in here. So that cuts the lows, and then an ambassador, which I don't really. Yeah, just I guess just to emphasize the sub during that section. And then yeah, it gets faster here and starts building. Yeah. This is pretty much it for intro. I guess for this build I switched it up a little bit. Same but different, you know. But then in this second drop, it's just I switched up the pattern. I used a different clap. Let's see, yeah, I used this guy, which is nice little 808 clap. So for the house section, and then I also switched up the hats. Yep, and then use some more of that drum fill. And then yeah, in the drop, it's just kind of I use different basses.
My main goal is to blow up.
That's pretty much it, I think, for the whole thing. Besides the vocals, which is just
My main goal is to blow up
recording a
and
riff
then
raff.
act like I don't know nobody.
Yeah, on the vocals, I have a glue compressor, reduce ambience, cutting the lows, utility making it mono, and then a parallel Valhalla room to add some stereo. Now we'll check out the master. So basically I have this Ozone 11 on here. I use this clarity. It kind of just makes it, like, reduces harsh frequencies and high. Can you see? Yeah. And then imager I was just using to cut the lows on the whole thing and check it out in image. Don't really do too a whole lot with that. This utility is just automating the gain down during build sections, because otherwise it gets kind of loud. The saturator's off. This is some sauce. This is from Mr. Bill. It's basically it takes the transient from my kick and layers it over top, just like this very, very tiny input section. It takes that and it layers it over top of the final mix, so that the transients hit really, really hard. You can even hear them without when I don't have the drums soloed. Yeah, you can hear those clicks. Those are just the transients. So yeah, and then I have the sub meter, which is just to look at my sub. I usually have them hitting around 0. So yeah, that's that. And then the spectrum is just to check out the whole thing, but I mostly use span. Yeah, I just kind of try and make it as even as possible like that with a nice, I've heard it like a Nike swoosh. Is how you should, how I like to mix my songs at least. It's all personal preference. But yeah, and I have mini meters, and that is pretty much it for everything. Just use Shaperbox to sidechain, and yeah, that is how I made Explosive Ego. If you have any more questions about it, or if I missed anything that you guys want to know about it, let me know. I would love to answer your questions. If you want more of these kinds of videos or something, let me know as well. I'd love to do more. But yeah, thanks, and have a good one. Peace.